Dear Mr. Rohringer, dear Mr. Hodnik, Nikolic, dear Mr. Vakonik, dear representatives of Slovenian companies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome you at today's event here in Slovenian Digital Center. It's the hotspot for promotion of ideas and solutions during Slovenian presidency to the EU. The main goal of Slovenian Digital Center, which was established by the Ministry of the Economic Development and Technology in association with public agency SPIRIT and Slovenian Digital Innovation Hub and company BTC, is to exchange ideas, to promote solutions, to talk about future trends, not only in the field of digitalization, but in broader aspects of all green, creative, technological, smart technologies. Today I'm delighted to host representatives of two renowned international companies which are among leading champions in the field of electronics and digitalization, Flex and Infineon. Both companies are pioneers in building innovative solutions for their clients, for their customers, but also in adapting to changing business environment and introducing new business models into their operations. The key issues of Slovenian presidency to EU refer to measures, to economic measures for green transition, for digital transformation, which I think goes perfectly in hand with what showcases of Flex and Infineon are. So, sehr geehrter Herr Rohringer, sehr geehrter Herr Nikolic, Hodnik, herzlich willkommen in Slowenien. Wir haben schon ein paar Mal probiert, eine Wirtschaftsdelegation zum Besuch Ihrer Standorte in Kärnten zu organisieren, aber da kommen immer wieder Corona-Wellen, die uns verhinderten. Aber ich bin mir sicher, wir schaffen das im nächsten Jahr. Und wenn ich noch erwähnen darf, Infineon hat vor einigen Wochen die neue Hightech-Chip-Fabrik, die zu einer der weltweit modernsten zählt, eröffnet und damit auch die größte österreichische Privatinvestition von 1,6 Milliarden Euro umgesetzt. Gratuliere zu diesem wichtigen Milestone und ich gratuliere beiden auch zum Firmenjubiläum. We are extremely happy that you are willing to elaborate on future trends and to share your experience, your knowledge with us. And I'm also very honored to introduce you to Slovenian companies which offer high-quality, innovative, state-of-art solutions in many sectors and areas. They are all creative, flexible, and very reliable business partners for business cooperation, in particular for Austrian partners. After your presentations, there will be some time for networking, for discussions. Please take some time and allow our companies to present themselves. I'm sure you will find quite some business potential for business cooperations. Last but not least, my special thanks goes to Slovenska gospodarska zveza v Celovcu, Slovenische Wirtschaftsverband in Klagenfurt, for engaging in the organization of today's event and inviting esteemed representatives to Ljubljana. Najlepša hvala, Vesna, tebi in celotni ekipi in ja, želim vam uspešen poslovni dogodek z avstrijskima šampionoma. Now I would like to pass the floor to the president of Slovenska gospodarska zveza v Celovcu, Mr. Vakonik, our closest partner and our dearest friend. Mr. Vakonik, dear Benjamin, please.
Thank you, Dusan. Dobar dan. Hello. My name is Benjamin Vakonik. I'm the president of the Slovenian Business Union in Carinthia, Slovenska gospodarska zveza v Celovcu. On behalf of the organizers, Slovenska gospodarska zveza and SPIRIT Slovenija, we are very happy to have today this very great event here in Ljubljana. And thank you also to Mr. Hodnik and to Mr. Rohringer from the company Flex and Infineon, which will be today with us. and you can be sure that we will get much more of new informations, what is coming for us in the future time. In this case, once again, thank you to be with us today here in Ljubljana, and I will take my big honor to you. Please enjoy with us, and please, our Mrs. Vesna Hodnik, she's the head of the Slovenska gospodarska zveza in Slovenija. Vesna, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Benjamin. Well, just for a while, because we will continue now with this, with the content. Why are you here? But let me just seize the moment and just say that Slovenska gospodarska zveza, so Slovenian Business Association, was founded in 1988. So this is already 33 years ago, and in this time our association developed, and we have it was actually established by the businessmen from the Slovenian national community in Carinthia. Today we have like 350 members from Slovenia, from Austria, actually from the whole region. And our purpose is to strengthen cross-border economic activities and to connect and network with the economic institutions and companies in this entire region. So please, we are here for you to network and to get us known a bit better, because we are also the Slovenian Business Club for Austria. That means that we provide companies with information and numerous contacts for an effective and successful entry into the Austrian market. But now enough about us. Let's start really with the content now. Carinthia has developed severely in the last decade. We could actually segment the regional focus into the following industries: ICT, plastics, logistic hub, wood, renewables, and electronic-based systems. And today's guests, so Flexen and Infineon, thank you for being here. They're one of the two biggest worldwide players in electronics. So on the stage, as already mentioned before, there are two guests from Infineon, Mr. Rohringer and Mr. Hodnik Nikolic from company Flex. But the moderation will take over Jerica Budic. Why? Because Jerica is coming from the company Danfoss, where she's currently holding a position of operation director and plant manager for the European production of heat exchangers in Kamnik. From the start of her career, she has been active in the field of global supply chain management in various industries. Her expertise are covering from process optimization, global network design, to more executional factory planning and implementation of good practices in inventory management. Working with different industries, she has also gained experiences and knowledges in our today's topic of electronics components, purchasing, and dealing with challenges connected to this flow. So Jerica, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Hello also from my side. And let me start by really asking the audience a question. So how many of you have been affected by current market situation in electronic industry? I see many hands. So we are very familiar with what's going on in the world today. Multiple industries are feeling the impact of raw material shortages, component shortages, not just the electronic sector. We see automotive producers with record order intake actually, but cannot produce and are shutting down. Also just recently in Slovenia, there is severe shortages, such as severe shortages in semiconductors worldwide, that automotive sector alone is predicted that will lose more than $100 billion this year in sales as they cannot get chips. Increased demand surpasses supply chain, and this happened actually long ago. Already years ago we had situations in 2016 of 2 years lead times for components from China and severe shortages. Many PCBs, semiconductors, microchips, they're still produced in Asia. Production globally was in the past offshore, so making it very challenging to keep short lead times. It was cost competitive though, but it faces severe transport disruptions. But today, we'll talk to two very successful companies, like we heard. They had a vision to actually produce locally. They come from Austria, from our vicinity, just across the border. and they have strong production footprint and design centers in Europe. Some examples will be given through the presentations on how they manage current demand crisis, but moreover, I would like you to also listen what are actually the trends to be best in class. They will explain their vision, switching back to more region-to-region production, working on new technologies like 5G or blockchain, and of course, not forgetting the very important topic of sustainability. This needs to become also a very important topic in the business for every company. I have a pleasure to announce our first guest, and our first guest is Mr. Milorad Hodnik-Nikolic. Milorad is a mechanical engineer who has actually found his calling in electronic business, a very experienced international manager who knows business inside out. He's gained his experience working for some of the multinationals through his career, like Landis+Gyr, Philips, and currently he's in Flex. He was a part of consumer care, design, procurement, even quality and IT department. So we have done it all, Milorad. And for the last 8 years, our Slovenian citizen is actually living in Austria, in Klagenfurt, with his family. He is a business development director for Flex, and his current mission is to create some of the world's leading solutions together with the new customers and all the customers that they have. Solutions in manufacturing, innovation, design, and of course, sustainability. Milorad, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, thank you, Jarica, thank you, Vesna, thank you all who organized this event, and thank you all who are here today present and also online. It's a great pleasure to be here. If I can excuse myself, I will just say a few words in Slovenian language. Zares mi je velika čast in veselje, da sem danes tukaj z vami, da lahko delim svojo zgodbo nekoga, ki se je šolal in delal v Sloveniji in je potem pred 8 leti se odločil, odšel v Avstrijo in je uspelo nama skupaj z Vesno to našo uspešno zgodbo iz Slovenije nadaljevati tudi v Avstriji. Na koncu, ko bodo vprašanja, lahko postavite vprašanje tudi v slovenskem jeziku. Hvala, toliko za začetek. So welcome all. Excuse also to the people online for this. I welcome some of our customers who joined online, some of my colleagues, and that means that I just must do it in the right way. So as mentioned, my name is Milorad Hodnik-Nikolic. I'm a Director of Business Development for the Lifestyle segment in a global company, Flex. And I'm not here today to talk about me, but to talk about future of the electronics, challenges, more through the Flex story, how we see it, what we do, and also a bit about challenges. So let's talk about the market trends. Because if we speak about electronic business, then we have to be aware about what are the trends. We are all aware about connectivity, Industry 4.0, responsibility, intelligence, regionalization. Those macro trends are driving business and societal changes. Actually driving how the things and changes, how the things are produced and services delivered to our customers. If we go to connectivity, 5G, cloud, edge computing, IoT, then we have also data mobility. Fact is that 5G is coming. That means faster and more reliable connection. That will completely change the whole ecosystem, because we speak about trillions of new economic opportunities created by that. And just Jerca mentioned at the beginning, currently we are facing big challenges in the area of supply chain. We're facing also challenges in the area of energy prices. Can you imagine adding all of those billions and trillions of a business in electronics, what impact it has, and how we need to change and to adapt to make it possible. It's not enough to have just an idea. You have to know where you will get the material and how you're going to produce it. If you go to Industry 4.0, it's a new way of manufacturing. If you consider, let's say, industrial and medical are more conservative segments. There, because of the high investments, you don't change products every day. But look at the lifestyle segment, consumer segment. We are changing products because of the new features, new technologies. And how to adapt from production perception, how to be more efficient, how to automate, how to make it customized, a modern way to produce, to reduce the time needed for downtime, for changeover, and so on. This is all about Industry 4.0. And as I'm very much proud, our site in Althofen was recognized in that area. At the end, I will show you a video, and you will see that Industry 4.0 and all the changes is not just about technology. It's not just about components, but also about people. For such changes, you need also skilled and trained people. If we speak about intelligence, predictive, data, insight, machine learning, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, this will create or expand to 100 billion devices. If you consider that each device will be equipped with dozens of sensors collecting data, we speak about trillion sensors economy. Gathering data and processing data, and that goes beyond our imagination. We cannot even imagine how it looks, because it's not just about hardware, it's also about software. How to process, why to process, how to regulate that, how to make it safe. And it is a whole process behind. Responsibility. This is also an important topic. Actually, now we see connect, automate, digitize. But we have to be responsible towards our planet, towards our colleagues, towards community, but also towards our partners. It's a part of integrity to protect their ideas and intellectual property. And we come to the point of regionalization. Though those trends are present in the market, this is nothing new. We all know it will come. Regionalization, maybe this COVID showed some of the weaknesses in the structure and how the world was set up. Depending on one market, on one source, simply doesn't work in a way that worked before. Look at what happened with the prices of transport. Transportation went up. COVID blocked or closed some of the factories. And we as the customers, we want to have everything tomorrow. When I ordered something on Tuesday from Germany. They said it will come on Friday. On Saturday, I already sent an email to them. What the hell is going on? I didn't get my device. And not only that I would like to have it in 4 days, 3 days. I would like to have it in green color or white color. So this customization, localization, then you have to produce it close to the customers. What will be the future? Localized warehouses, delivery with the drones. We have ideas how to come there. Are we there? Not yet. We need to build the infrastructure. And regionalization, this is what we do today here, from my perspective. Look at Carinthia. Carinthia is a nice place in Austria, beautiful. I always say to the people, I live where other comes to spend holiday. And Carinthia itself is creating a very successful story in the area of electronics. I'm together here with our friends and partners from Infineon. They did a great investment. It's one of the most, let's say, and best brands in electronics those days. So they decided to invest in Carinthia. Flex, we were awarded and recognized by the Global Economic Forum, our site in Carinthia. So we have interest to stay there. But for us, it's important to connect on a regional level. Because what is the closest to Carinthia? It's not Vienna, it's Slovenia, it's northern Italy. In this region itself, we have to build environment to make it possible that this story will go on in the future. First of all, we need to keep young, educated people to stay with us, but also to attract experts from abroad to come and work and live with us. And this is very important, connecting on regional level. More than people can imagine. Forget the borders. Borders are made with different purposes. Economy should not have the borders in between. So that's from my perspective for the beginning. And I will go through the challenges and what we do during my presentation more, not just to count. Who we are. We are one of the, let's say, partner of choice to capitalize on market dynamics. We help our customers, even if they have, let's say, new innovative product and they would like to enter to existing or the new market, to come there faster and in a better way. With our global supply chain, with regional flexibilities, we help them to create even greater value to their customers. And of course, for us as a Flex, it's extremely important quality. We always deliver the highest quality, and this is our core, let's say, competitive advantage that we have. Quality, global footprint, in time, innovative, and so on. So just to spend a few minutes, who we are. We have very solid revenue. We have a global and competent workforce. Among those, we have domain experts in design and engineering. We are recognized as one of the Fortune Global 500 World Most Admired Companies in 2021. We have very strong supplier relationship. We are global. We operate in more than, I think, 30 or close to 40 countries with more than 100 facilities. That's on a high level about Flex. As we are in Europe, this is how we are present in Europe. We are present with over 30,000 people, with manufacturing sites in Eastern Europe, in Hungary, Poland, Romania, Czech, not to count it, Western Europe. We have production sites in Western Europe. One is Austria, the second close to Slovenia, it's in Italy, in Trieste and Treviso. Then we have design centers, very strong design centers, creating, together with our customers, innovative, leading solutions for the future. What we do in Europe, we operate at scale across multiple industries, from medical, or let's say healthcare, automotive, cloud, communication, energy, industrial, lifestyle, consumer devices. What I miss on this slide, I have to talk to my marketing colleagues. We also have circular economy solutions in Europe, where we can support our customers in sustainability. And this is very important today. It's extremely important that we are aware as a company that we do everything, but not only that, that we support our customers to be better. I'm old-fashioned. I changed the site here, and I expected that this one will be changed as well. I have to push this button. Oops. Okay, we are present across 6 industries and many sub-segments. I just wanted to show this slide. It's quite informational by itself, but just for you to get impression, where do we operate? We are all around electronic industry. You can hardly find some sub-segments that we are not present. Why it is important? Because we can learn. we can learn from different segments and then maybe use that in some other segments. I will talk about this a bit later. So as you see, I'm part of lifestyle. That means those things that you have at home. We don't have our own brand products. We all do for our customers. So that means that you cannot buy Flex vacuum cleaner, but probably you can buy some vacuum cleaner that Flex cooperated in design, or produced electronics, or maybe produced the whole set. Okay, we really believe that our stack of our capabilities makes us truly differentiated partner. And what is important, let's talk about today and future. In these evolving times, the product ideas become more and more complex, integrated more and more features and technologies. And what are customers looking for? Looking for partners, suppliers, producers with advanced design and engineering who can support them to turn those ideas into manufacturable products. And this is exactly what we do. Many companies, they have ideas, but they don't know how to make these ideas live, how to produce it, and how to put it into the market. So this is somehow this core thing. And also, maybe Stefan, he's from R&D, understand that better than I do, but you cannot find one fit-size-all solution for everything. You have to have a deep understanding of the industry and application in order to be able to do it, because nobody is expert for everything. And this is what makes us strong, due to number of experts and the number of people working daily on different challenges. This is just one slide that shows where we are playing and how we can use the knowledge that we are having, for example, in the industrial segment with the battery backup, and we can use it in automotive because we are present in both segments. Look at your cars today and try to compare it to the car you had 30, 40 years ago. The first sensor what I had in my car was this for the rain, you know, that it started to wipe my windows, and I was so happy. I don't have to push it each time when it starts to rain. Look at your car today. How many sensors, how many entertainment you have at home, they brought into your car, from multimedia solution and everything. And as we are present in all of those segments, we are present at that side and this side, we can sometimes combine it, take advantage of that, and make it happen. And this is something that we are very proud of. This is our advanced manufacturing technologies, because we are redoubling investment into the futuristic manufacturing, because we are manufacturing companies. Even though that we have innovation, sustainability, circular possibility, design, we are a manufacturing company that built all of those services around to make the service for our customers complete, to better them more knowledge, and to help them to get to the market faster and in a better way. And if we speak about automation and robotics, this was already created with flexibility in mind. This is modular robotic reprogrammable system, which help us that we reduce the time for changeover, and the less that means downtime, and we can faster change the production line because of this. If we speak about advanced and remote simulation, this enables us to simulate and test production lines and products and more, not affecting people, resources, and capital in the real world. So we can do the simulation of a process and products outside of the real world. This is really important to understand, and this is future. Digitalization, to digitize and connect. If we speak about real-time supply chain, Jarica mentioned, we are all aware, we are all living in the same world. But it's really important that if you would like to successfully today manage your supply chain, you have simply to have real-time visibility across your supply chain, starting from sourcing, transportation, production, and inventory. And we have our own tool called Pulse. Pulse is software-based visualization from end-to-end supply chain to identify events that might have impact on efficiency of supply chain. So just to make it more clear for you, there is a fire somewhere in Japan, or there is an earthquake somewhere in I don't know where, or there is political problem in Ghana or anywhere because they are quite important for some kind of raw material. Our supply chain is immediately, because this system is gathering information not only from the public media but also from social media and everything, immediately responsible people at Flex Supply Chain are informed about this event, and they take steps to assure that Flex Supply Chain will not be affected with that. It's not all about system, it's much about people. We have 10,000 experts in supply chain those days. They're taking care. Do we have problems? Of course not. No, I'm kidding. We're all in the same boat. We have it. Shortages are affecting even the companies bigger than Flex. But how you are able to manage that, to reduce, mitigate the risk for your customers, to make it more efficient, this is what differentiates companies. And this is what the future will be. I've recently participated in one supply chain conference of one very known brand in Europe, probably not yet, but in 2 years' time leading Europe in the area of appliances. And they pulled out this, not Flex, but they said for us it's important to work with the companies that they control their supply chain, real-time visibility, and share that experience with them. And this is really important. Additive manufacturing, rapid prototyping, it's possible due to our really suite of the technologies that we have and state-of-art software, products, material. We are able to do that for our customers, to do fast prototyping. This is today very important because the time in the past, I started with Philips in 1997. We had a lot of time to make prototype, to test. I had 3-4 months to do the certificates in Europe, to get permission in Eastern Europe to sell the products. Those days, the time and the world is turning differently. So challenges are here. We are affected, but we are trying to find a better way how to improve it and to learn. Also, due to our size, we have power because we discuss with our suppliers that on a daily basis and trying to find best solutions together. So not only manufacturing, but actually we help our customers to innovate, develop, and to ship the products worldwide, manufacturers ship the products worldwide with our Flex solutions. So we can support customers from concept, prototyping, engineering, manufacturing, logistics, even reverse logistic, to get to the market faster and in a better way. That means that you have to understand technology, you have to understand market, and you need a system that it is able to do it. I don't use those slides with a number of purchase order per day and the number of components we are dealing in, because it's really amazing. If you consider that we are $24 billion big revenue, big company, you can imagine what kind of a system is behind. And we are working with the world's strongest brands. Sustainability. I think that's responsibility not only of the politicians, not only of the companies, but of each of us to start thinking and to act in a more sustainable way, because we are responsible. We are responsible for that, and that's because of future generations and our children. This is how we as a Flex do this sustainability, including environmental, social governance, and we are proud how we do it. We do it in the right way. We are trying to do it better for our customers, community, for our friends, and we are improving. We are improving all the parameters. We are also part of many associations, and we gave commitments that we're going to do it. But more than that, we also have ambition to become world #1, global provider of circular solutions for our customers, from repair, refurbishment, up to recycling, to minimize the impact, environmental impact, and to maximize value recovery. That means that already today we have solutions, and we are getting more and more customers working with us, that we help them from the very beginning already to design in a more sustainable way, then to produce it in our sites in a sustainable way, to take care also of those products in after-sales world. We do repair for many companies. We do refurbish, harvesting, recycling, producing new sets from those recycled materials, or just giving them material, they can do whatever they like. But this is future in electronics, especially because we have some materials that we have to think about it. Look at about recycling of the batteries, and how many those days these electric cars we have. We should switch to electric cars in 2050, or what is the aim? So you can imagine what impact that will have on environment on the other side. And this is important topic of Flex. Yes, we are getting challenges. We have challenges in supply chain, as I mentioned, challenges with the energy prices, challenges with the people. It's not easy today to find skilled people because they already have a job. There is in German Arbeitgeber or Arbeitnehmerzeit. That means, is it good time for the employer or for the employees? And that is changing. Look at the turbulent times, what we live. So many changes in the last 2-3 years. Who predicted Corona 5 years ago? Nobody, because nobody has a crystal ball. And that is changing economy, that is changing our relations, and changing the way how we work and how we behave. Look at how we do the meetings those days. I was 3 weeks in Ireland, my first business trip after I felt like, a child in Disneyland, because I really enjoyed a lot. And of course, there was a very good friends and customer, and then the feeling was unique. I'm free, I can travel again. So the things are changing. As we are in the region, and we are proud on Carinthia and the success story of Carinthia, I'm especially, and all of us employees of Flex, we are proud on our site in Althofen, which is far away one of the best sites that we have around the globe, and it's just behind the corner. It's 40 kilometers away from Klagenfurt, Celovec. So why we are so proud? Because 50 years of experiences, that used to be Philips, same history as I was at Philips, I joined Flex, and that site was Philips, and then turned to be Flex. We produced mostly healthcare, industrial, automotive. We have about 1,000 employees in Carinthia, and the important thing is that the number of employees is growing, because the business is growing. We take care about young people, apprentices. This was awarded as one of the best training centers in Austria. In Carinthia, industry was recognized as Apprentice of the Year, and we also focused to have a lot of girls, females in those training centers to educate them. Why it is important? It's important for future. Without educated, young, skilled people, no industry will run. We take care about sustainability, social responsibility. We live together with the community around us. From blood donations, engaging with people with disabilities. We produced 1.9 million masks during the Corona crisis, mostly for the Flex sites across Europe. But we donated 300 masks in the community around us to those they needed it. You remember how it was at the beginning to get masks. It was not that easy. Some of the awards: happy customers, design to distribution, manufacturing zero approach, great place to work, best Arbeitsgeber. Flex was recognized, and this is what we employees say about the place to work for. It was recognized as one of the best places to work in Austria. And this is really tremendous recognition and honor. I'm very happy to be part of that story, even though that I'm a global guy, but still I'm part of Althofen Flex organization. Recently, we got from the Federal Ministry of Republic of Austria award for the exceptional implementation of the excellence principles. I'm showing you, I would like to show you after this slide a factory of tomorrow, how the future production will look like. Maybe not 100% like that, but close to that, because we did a great story. And this is the fact that Flex Factory in Althofen, Austria, admitted into World Economic Forum Global Lighthouse Network. Not to count and to tell you about it, I will just show 2 minutes or 3 minutes video, and that I will close my presentation. So I will ask someone, no, I will ask no one, I will run it by myself.
The fourth industrial revolution is changing our world faster than at any time in history. As we digitize, connect and automate, we are transforming manufacturing. In September 2021, the World Economic Forum welcomed our site to its global lighthouse network of advanced manufacturers. This distinction recognizes our use of Industry 4.0 technologies to make our factories smarter, safer, and more sustainable.
We use advanced technologies to help us make more than 500 different products for our medical, automotive, and industrial customers. FlexPulse helps us to keep on top of supply chain complexity and to keep on track of materials before they reach us. Real-time and end-to-end visibility shared with our customers and our suppliers strengthens our supply chain resilience. It allows us to anticipate problems before they occur and take actions quickly. Better inventory management helps us to stay competitive.
When the materials arrive, they are scanned, and an automated guided vehicle transports them to our warehouse. This process has cut our receiving time by 30%. At the printed circuit board assembly area, an avatar-based assistant called Lisa supports our operators around the clock.
If something seems off, Lisa alerts the operator and stops the line. So far, Lisa has helped to reduce quality-related downtimes by almost 60%. And with more than 20 changeovers a day, Lisa has made changeover times 10% quicker.
When components run low on the factory floor, the operator is alerted and sends an order to a robotics-driven materials tower. The materials tower itself is replenished via an auto-order algorithm that uses real-time consumption data. That means we never stop a line because we run out of material. While production is humming along, massive amounts of data is being collected and exchanged so everyone can make use of it. Our data science team, for example, uses it to train machine learning models to continuously optimize operations.
Industry 4.0 is not only about advancing technology, it is also about advancing people. Our production team has learned valuable new skills, equipping them to enjoy more fulfilling work in a data-rich environment. Our workplace is also safer, with the total case incident rate falling by 60% in just 4 years. Real-time monitoring of energy and water usage has helped us reduce consumption and made our factory greener.
Since beginning of our Industry 4.0 journey 4 years ago, we have significantly grown our business and expanded our team at Althofen. Advanced technologies have helped us build the factory of the future, which is informed, intelligent and integrated.
It's an honor to be a World Economic Forum Industry 4.0 lighthouse. We are proud and excited to lead in this new era of manufacturing, where we can use this advantage to better serve our customers through a process that's kinder to our environment and more rewarding for our team.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed in this. And any question, I will wait till end, and I will give now the role back to Jarica.
Is this working?
It's working.
Absolutely, we have questions. You know, you've seen the raise of hands of our audience. You've seen that they're all affected by current crisis, you know. So the first question that we cannot go around is really, how do you see current situation in Flex? What's a modern supply chain in Flex looks like that you can avoid maybe potentially these shortages? And do you see an end to this crisis?
Okay, this is a very good question. The steps that we are taking are in sense of minimizing the global impact, because you cannot avoid, if there are global shortages, you cannot fully avoid to that. You can order that you burn all of your money on your inventory and be on a safe side, but then you can close the factory and you can go home. So we are all in the same, as I said. Maybe the advance of us is that we are so big, and then when you operate on a global scale, then it's easier to manage it. As well, using the tools like this Pulse, virtual-based tool, real data, time data, and so on, help us to minimize that impact. But to be honest, to avoid completely to some global issues that are appearing, probably no one can do that in this time. So, do I see end of this crisis? Yes, but not that soon as people think. I believe that this, what's going on in supply chain, will continue through most of 2022. We see that maybe Q3, Q4, they will come partially to the stabilization of the market, but still not to the level where it was before. That's the fact. And this is what we openly also communicate with our customers, because for us, and for me personally, it's the most important because of my own integrity to deliver my commitments. And this is also philosophy of our company. So we will not tell the customers that situation in 6 months will be better, but you have to be also good in predicting and planning based on current situation and based on some steps of improvement that they will come. You know, in the perfect times, what was important for the customers? To produce it somewhere in Asia as cheap as possible. Those days, customers are paying hell of a money to get those components or products out of there, from there to Europe. So all the savings they made on a product price, that disappeared. Transport costs, energy costs, I don't believe that it will go soon to the level where it was, if at all. So we need also to think in a more regionalized way to mitigate the risk, to make it, it's not possible 100%, but yeah, it's a very difficult question how to manage this. I think that we are very successful in this. As I said, we are not perfect, also facing the problems, but our production is still running. Our customers are satisfied, and also makes a lot of headaches for my colleagues in supply chain, and I'm happy that 2 years ago I decided to leave supply chain and to move to business development, so I have less headache than I could have right now.
So definitely now in a business development you have opportunity to work closer with the customers. Is there also some kind of different approach to the business given these shortages? Will the power move actually? Are going to be the suppliers of the electronics components still the ones that are having a hand on the market?
Yeah, actually this moment changed awareness of our customers and people a lot. Because now our customers are also thinking how to regionalize, how to split the risk, mitigate the risk, how to produce it closer to the locations where they are. Because you have plenty of companies that their main market is in Europe, headquarters is in Europe, but they're producing in China. Those days it's a huge challenge. For them, looking for a solution somewhere in East Europe, it's probably a strategic question. Look at also the way how they think today. In the past was important just pure production price. Today, we all considering more cost of total ownership. How much does it cost if it is produced for $10 in Mexico or China till you bring it to Europe, to the location where you need it? And that's the price that you have to compare with the price that you can get in production in Europe. So everything is changing, of course. Companies now also looking for suppliers and manufacturers like Flex with more control over the supply chain, because at the end we can predict, we can alert customer in advance that something is going on, something will be wrong, we have to find a different solution. We can work with them on alternative components to find other solutions. We can support them to innovate their products and design, already have it in mind, resilient and more sustainable supply chain. This is what differentiates such companies like Flex from some other companies, and this is how it is today.
Super. Thank you very much,
Welcome.
Mr. Nikolic. Very good insights. I think we should continue with our second speaker. And our second speaker is coming from another extremely successful multinational, like we've heard today, Infineon, Mr. Stefan Rohringer. Welcome. He's been part of Infineon for over 22 years. His successful career started in IT and information sciences, actually. He gained his master's as a Fulbright scholar and spent a year in the US. He's been working since with the latest technologies and breakthrough innovations, holding various leadership positions, especially within research and development and technology. He's currently a vice president of Infineon Technologies Austria and deputy chief technology officer. He's working out of a design center in Graz that Infineon holds. Together with his team, they're setting visible and bold trends, transmission standards, 3D image sensoring, chips, and blockchain applications. And they play a vital role in new technology innovations. Infineon, like we heard and we will hear from Mr. Rohringer, is ranked global top 10 semiconductor company, and they play and shape a better future, linking both the real world and the digital world. And Mr. Rohringer really takes pride also in helping European high-tech industry to become much more self-confident, much more self-reliant in the future. It will be a true inspiration to hear your thoughts. Mr. Rohringer, please, stage is yours.
Maybe I have to have the control. Thanks a lot for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. Sorry, I can't throw in some Slovenian words. I have to stick to the lingua franca of R&D, the English. Changes and challenges in electronics, the world through the eyes of a semiconductor company based in Europe. So we are the ones not delivering as much as you all need. I will come to that in a minute. What is behind of this? What can we do? What are we doing in order to make it better in future? The world is full of changes and chances and challenges, like you said already. If you look at that picture, I would say the two to the left, automation, industry, IoT, digitalization, these are changes made by man on purpose, by mankind on purpose, so to say. These are things we want to change for all kind of different reasons. We have an idea behind, we want to achieve something. So we work on that, and a lot of ideas are triggered by that, a lot of R&D topics arouse, and we have to cope with that. The autonomous driving is already a little bit in between. It's the people who want, or should, or who dream of a different way of driving. I came from Graz this morning, 2 hours of drive. To be honest, 100 minutes of it didn't need that much of attention of myself. But still I had to do it. Technology would have taken over if legal situations would be different. But here we have already us as people in the setup with the real world, with nature, with everything, with our planet. And we have the other set of challenges ahead. Here to the right, scarce resources. What's going on with the climate? How is that developing? And we all know what the discussion is all about. Glasgow is going on these days. So these 5 big blocks, and there could be more, need many, many answers to solve this, to cope with that. And innovation and technology will and has to play a crucial role here. Many, many of the questions coming up here will be answered, partially answered by technological innovation. And much of this, most of this I would like to say, relies on semiconductors. I could be happy now with the situation that everybody more or less now knows that chips are so essential for the way of living we are used to. The reason why we all know it, even if we are not in semiconductors, is because all of the media coverage, chip shortage. Yeah. 2 years ago, that wasn't known to so many people, where semiconductor is in. And it's basically in everywhere. So we would have maybe liked a different reason, but we have so many possibilities. We have for the digitalization, here with the picture of the cloud. Do you have any clue how many data of you are in the cloud and where the cloud is located and how it's secured and how it's accessed and either to read or maybe even to change the data? I think we don't have enough knowledge about this. So for this question of digitization, we will need security. Energy. The energy consumption is a big topic of industry. It's a big burden to the planet. IT is consuming a lot of power. These days, global IT is something in the range of 2 to 4% of global energy consumption. If it don't change much, it might go up to a quarter in 10 years. If we adopt, if we do things differently, and I've seen here already examples on the posters here, we can keep it at the level of 6%. So innovation will help a lot here. Automation and IoT, all the great products Flex is producing, you wouldn't like to do that without any knowledge about what's going on in your production hall, what the machines are doing, how they feel, quote. That's automation, that's IoT. That's run based on semiconductors. Energy efficiency, yes, many of these things run on electrical power. And we always say the biggest source of energy is energy efficiency. The electrical power should do just that what it is planned for to do. It should not heat our environment, it should not blow up magnetic power to all kinds of levels. Yeah? It should just do that what it's supposed to do. And if we produce it, most of it should end up in the final device and act accordingly. So, many things to do, and I would just like to give 4 quick examples what kind of growth is behind of that. What is pushing here the industry forward that we have to supply more and more. Again, along the mega trends, climate change, demography, in Europe completely different story than compared to Asia, for example. Yeah. Baby boomer generation is kind of phasing out. Yeah. I'm happy to see younger people here as well. I'm baby boomer. Urbanization, we are already beyond more than 50% living in cities. All people there have different needs than the people living on the countryside, for example. Or the digital transformation. Let's have a look at the car industry and the automated driving paradigm. Level 1 or higher means at least some assistance in the car. I'm not talking here about completely fully autonomous cars. From 2010 to 2020, we didn't even make the calc here, ×4 number of cars having any functionality like that in there. Another 10 years, another factor of 2. It's all semiconductors. You said how many sensors, yeah? And to be honest, you get spoiled by that level of assistance. If you're used that your wiper is just choosing how fast it should do it, have your 3 weeks and you don't want to miss it again. IoT connections, we had the numbers there. ×6, ×3.5 in just 20 years. It's altogether almost ×20. That's all IoT. That's all semiconductor. And all these crazy and wonderful and stunning applications, name it big data, name it AI, name it predictive maintenance. Yes, it's great software. It's a huge amount of data that is being used, and it's enormous amount of data in storage. But all of this needs electronics. The news are typically full about software, and software is the future. Yes, absolutely agree, but the software has to run on some hardware. And the data, no one is keying it in. That's detected by sensors. That's done by hardware on high frequency. And then you have all these many datas to work on. Another one, if we look at more the energy efficiency topic, sales of cars run on battery, whether completely battery driven or plug-in hybrids. From 10 to 20, from 0 to 4 million, in another 10 years ×9. Should it be 30 million, should it be 40 million, I don't care. But it's a huge increase. And the content of semiconductor in an electric drivetrain is a lot higher than in a normal combustion engine car. Just for the electric drivetrain. So we like that as semiconductor, right? Photovoltaic, it's just going up from 400 to 800 in 10 years, and it's another ×5 down the road for the next 10 years. Again, semiconductors. And this will pay for our climate change program. That is needed. Without these kind of innovations, which are based on electronic-based systems, it won't happen. And what are we doing as company? How do we work on these topics? Years ago, almost 8-9 years ago, we said we have to change from thinking in products, thinking in chips, these tiny little black box. We have to change from this into a system understanding of the systems of our customers. Doesn't sound so much different maybe, but you increase the place where you look at. You ask different questions. Yeah. For myself, I came up with one analogy. Suppose, not a good time these days, I would say, suppose you want to buy a new kitchen for your new apartment or house. There are two extreme possibilities. You go to your furniture house to your local buyer and say, because you have some ideas, and say, I would like to have the kitchen like this, that's the place I have, I want the fridge, this and that. The one might say, the sales rep, okay, great, I write down the order, done. And then you get the kitchen. The other one might ask, okay, how many people at home? Do you typically cook every day or only at weekends, or catering when you have guests, and otherwise it's just opening the fridge and pick out the pre-cooked stuff and you put it in the micro? To understand what you're doing. Yeah? And then you get a kitchen that really fits your needs, maybe beyond that what you thought of. And we want to be this other 16, 18 hours, no. Days, no. Weeks, it's done. So you have 4 months of production time. And you have to have that slot in the production. Because if someone else isn't there with the 4 months, you can start queuing up after these 4 months, and then it's 4 months. So we're talking 8 months. You can't order that like the pizza for the delivery now and you have it in 15 minutes. Yeah? And sorry to say, some of our customers, some players in the value chain have forgotten how that is done. And surprise, surprise, if you decommit, and on the other hand, you have industries that's growing a lot more than predicted, everybody's happy to use the capacity for them. And that is still in the system. Plus, if we sum up, and that's common knowledge, all the orders which are now across the industry in the system for automotive, that would be sufficient for 120 million cars this year. And we all know, even if the supply would be there, no one needs 120 million cars. It's more in the range of 70 and a little bit. So again, we have this overshoot in the behavior of the supply chain. And a supply chain that relies on just-in-time delivery with lead times of 4 or 5 months, that's not resilient. We have to change that. We have to rethink this. And as you mentioned already, no one can put everything on stock because the products are not interchangeable. They are typically unique. Yeah? Software can do a lot, can adopt a lot, but in many cases it's a unique piece of hardware. Cyclical demand, I mentioned by that already. COVID was just a, I would say, push on top of that. And yes, Murphy is always around. Then you have some singular events. Renesas, a production site in Japan, went on fire. That is producing microcontrollers for automotive. Texas didn't manage to supply electricity under 15 degrees minus and shut down the electricity, and a semiconductor fab really doesn't like that. You don't turn it on again in a day. So that took a lot of material out of the process. So if you're in trouble, you get trouble for free as well. The process is quite complex. How you produce semiconductors, I said this already with these many weeks of production time. It's very capital intense. I will have some numbers more. And it takes time to build a new fab. Yeah, you don't do that in days or weeks. We're talking about 3 years here. Global value chain, I mentioned already, and this dynamic behavior in ordering, that has to be reconsidered. Yeah. Now we are in this learning phase. Now we are in this turnover of how to deal with that. Plus, all of this has been, of course, even further challenged by the geopolitical topics. The US ban on some technologies that hadn't been allowed to be delivered to China. So they tried to order as much as possible before it became valid, to pile up their stocks, taking out capacity that was then not available for others. It's a complex system, and you have to be careful how you act in this. And some technology, in semiconductor we're talking always about these nanometers, yeah, the structure size. 28 to 90 nanometer, that's not the smallest technology. But these technologies in that corridor cover many applications. many products are very well positioned in these technology nodes. And especially the big semiconductor foundries didn't invest there. And with this change we saw in the corona, we needed routers, we needed cameras, we needed microphones, headsets, laptops. Much of it is on these nodes, not on the 12 and 10 nanometer, but on these nodes. And Infineon, for example, we are investing in production and we are producing only these products and technologies where it makes a difference that we do the production, that we know how to do that. And a pure logic device like a microcontroller, technology doesn't make the difference. It's a design, yes, but not the way you produce it. So that we don't do, we produce on the power side where there is really the difference in. What do we learn? What should we consider? We need long-term vision, because these decisions on high-level investments are always challenged. Before you put 1.6 billion euros on the table for a new fab, you really calculate. And then you have to do it, and then you have the lead time. Then it takes 3 years that the production is ready and delivering to the market. So it's always a bit of crystal ball reading. The capacity is really of strategic importance. And I'm happy that Europe is now acting on that more than in the past. It's essential for our sovereignty. And in Europe, we are not good in the small nodes. We're good in the technologies where we differentiate. But we have to adopt here. And we need this multidimensional approach. Not always the smallest node is the right one. There's an instrument called IPCEI, Important Projects of Common European Interest. That is an instrument of the EU where, under a strict regime and lots of monitoring and application and checks, it is possible that the national states fund more than the competition law typically would allow. Why? Because it's of a common European interest to be here stronger and to help the industry to do something. And the microcontroller, for sure, is one area. There's one microelectronic IPCEI already running with UK, Italy, France, Germany, and as a late adopter, Austria. And the Villach fab was already part of this idea of the important project of common European interest. The second one on microelectronic is already in preparation. So what's in the end in this race? Companies want chips, like many of you maybe. Companies want to provide chips because that's their business. So the states really fight for chip makers. There are big funding projects on its way, and only 3 are named here. The US just signed this CHIPS Act in the US with $52 billion they will spend. Dollars, euros, forget it. I'm not sure whether, no, it's dollars in that case, right. Europe, 160 billion. That's unusual. I mean, typically we don't see these big numbers in Europe. We see this more in the other regions. And China, with the 150, but pointer doesn't work. In a shorter time. So even if the number is smaller than the European one, that's only up to 25. And I guess there will be more to come. But you see, the countries, the big regions, are really investing into helping the companies to do that. And what's the outcome? Based on what you can read in the media and what is partially already announced, Intel will go for 20 billion in the US, starting the production in 2024, which is for a new fab tomorrow. That's fast. Samsung is talking about an investment of 151 billion over the next 2 years in many projects. TSMC, again in the US with 12 billion, Hynix in China with 106 billion, and Europe is hoping to get one of these big players as well to Europe, but there are still no numbers available. And then you have the Infineon investment, and 1.6 seems to be quite small in comparison to the others, but that's already running. Yeah? And that's maybe the big difference. We are not talking about things to come. That's already there. To put it in a global scale, this is the ranking of the top semiconductors in 2020. And if you look at the top 10, you have there 3 Asia, 6 US, and 1 European on ranked 9, that's Infineon. It's great that we are there as number 9, but what's maybe not so well known, it's named semiconductors, but among these top 10, Qualcomm, Broadcom, and Nvidia are so-called fabless companies. They don't have own production. They go to these silicon foundries, which are not listed here, like TSMC, and produce in these fabs. And these guys then fight for the capacity there. And it's business. Sometimes the one who pays more gets the capacity. And then the other one has to wait. That's the rule of business, yeah? And this we have to keep in mind. Europe is really losing ground. And if you want to be sovereign in our digital businesses, we have to act on this. And Europe is starting to do that. And we did it. September 17th, there was the official opening of our new fab. That's a picture from the event. And since then, actually some weeks before, we already produce and deliver from this new fab. We're not only successful, we are doing a real good thing to the planet. And therefore we should and have to do everything to empower Europe, to be self-confident, to fight for what we have and to make usage of the strength here. We're in the Sustainability World Index since years, gold status by the agency. One tiny example of what we do in Villach. Small projects, but that's the mindset. In semiconductor production, you need all kinds of materials and gases, and one gas you need is hydrogen. And you need hydrogen on a purity level with 99 point, and I think it's then 6/9. High level of purity. You typically don't need anywhere else. In the past, that was produced somewhere in north of Germany, and then the trucks brought it to Carinthia, and we used it. No, we changed that. Now we produce it locally with green energy, bring it to this high level of purity, use it in our production. After the usage, we don't blow it through the chimney. For us, it's not pure enough anymore. You can do purification steps with a reasonable financial impact to bring it to a certain level of, I don't know, 98, 99.99, something like that. Not enough for us, but perfect for hydrogen-driven public buses. So we're a corporation. We will clean it from our point of view to a point that public transport can use it. Kind of second life for the hydrogen. Things like that you have to do. And we are proud to do this. Summing up, the many challenges ahead. Europe has lots of strengths. And we really should be proud of that. And we should be clear and loud in saying this. We have to focus on these strengths, and then we can and then we will these challenges, turn these challenges into opportunities. And by that, we all will benefit. And by that, we can, from Europe, bring products to not only the home country, not only the region, although we're talking region here a bit, but the market is global. And have the better products from Europe, helping even the other countries and regions to do more for the planet. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Extremely interesting presentation. And let me actually catch on the main storyline, which is so interesting. I mean, you've been successful into putting 1.6 billion into Europe. I think it's very unique. Congratulations. We're very impressed by that. What do you think that really European Union or our governments, we have some representatives sitting here, what should they do to bring production back? how much percentages is actually now still in China for Europe, you know, and how realistic is really Europe for Europe in your industry and maybe even outside?
Europe has started to act differently. Like the IPSE program, we have this 160 billion funding that is now announced. Yeah, it's not used up to now. So there is the willingness, and Thierry Breton is really behind that, to say, yes, we have to do something about that. We have to change. We can't rely on the fact that 70% of the silicon foundry is in Taiwan, of the capacity there. And that's the small nodes. So there's the one program in Europe thinking about establishing a fab on one of these small nodes. We as Infineon and some other partners as well, we think 3 nanometer is great, yes, lots of fun for ASML and the science, but we need the capacity for mainstream sometimes sounds so average, yeah? But that's not average, that's the right node for many, many applications. And we have to do a lot of helping companies to generate an environment and boundary conditions that they are willing to invest here in Europe because it's economically feasible and meaningful. Yeah? And many, many things that pay into this. So we have to invest more into R&D and innovation. We have to be more, I dare to say, courageous to go more often into this IPSE thinking, common European interest. Because of this common European interest, of this importance for us, we have to be a bit more bullish. Yeah? Europe is really great, and I acknowledge that a lot about competition law. But if only we play along these lines, yeah, we won't be really successful in the global competition. Yeah? And to be honest, I prefer to have European products, or no, let's do it the other way. I prefer to have products being produced in Europe for the global market on a high level of environmental responsibility, with the idea to help the others. But then we have to find a way to be in a fair exchange. Because if we then would produce more expensive, and in the end companies turn that down, and the production goes to another place without the same level of responsibility, maybe a bit cheaper, but total cost of ownership for the planet is for sure higher. Yeah? And that we have to think more holistic. Yes, and maybe we as customer have to accept that innovation, that innovative products, yes, they bring a lot of new functionality. Yes, but maybe we should be willing to pay a little bit more, yeah, because we get more. And we as Infineon, and I guess that's true for many other semiconductors as well, but we as Infineon say we want to achieve more with less. And that is what we can do with innovation in the way we produce, and innovation in the products, and innovation in how we cooperate with the customers, this understanding the system, and finding the best solution for the product, not for the tiny little word of just a chip.
Super. And I was really wondering, you know, those kind of shifts are also requiring competences, are requiring right number of people. How do you approach this? Because there is currently in Europe, some numbers are saying the lowest unemployment rates, both for production workers, but also especially for R&D engineers, for engineering knowledge. Yeah. How do you overcome that in your company? And what would your advice be actually for others?
Yeah. That's a story that's keeping us busy since, I'm now 30 years in R&D, since the first day. So you could say, whatever we did 25 years ago, it didn't work out, so why should we have now the right ideas? I don't want to be that pessimistic. First of all, I think we have to start or continue to talk in a different way, especially to the younger people. Yeah? Why should a young person, a young man, a young woman decide to go into technology? We have to bring other examples, not maybe yesterday we had a discussion, the big great sound of a 12-cylinder motor. That doesn't work anymore for the young people. Yeah? It's more even pushing them back. But what can technology do? How can you be part of a technological innovation that helps the planet, to make it very blunt, yeah? To give a meaning to what they are doing? So we have to change that. We have to approach young women. Even there, the different languages maybe the even bigger challenge. That's the one thing, to generate more, but still we have then this lead time, you know, people have to go into. We have to help the people to retrain, especially if we go to the workforce level. We have to help the people to become partners of this new technology. Yeah? Although they are not coming maybe from a technological background, but they will have to interact with some technical device. How can that be supported the best? And how do we do that? Yes, we try to tell these stories in the right way. And if you go really down to the R&D guys, men and women which are already in the industry, yeah, if you have really great products, if you're working on new innovative stuff, if you're pushing the limits, like with the new fab, we're going to new materials that's even better for energy efficiency, then the people in the industry know that. They know who are the 1-2 companies working on that forefront. And then the curious, the innovative, the engaged people want to be part of that. And then they come. And in future, maybe then they come will change as well, because we all had to learn. Yes, you can work in teams, not completely the same as sitting in the same building, but not so bad as all. And that we will see for sure in future, a new way of working together, and we prepare for that, and we experience and we learn that.
Super. Thank you very much for sharing all your thoughts. Maybe if we have a couple of minutes, we can open for audience questions, Vesna. If anyone wants to ask to any of our guests anything, you're very welcome. Just raise your hand and we can give you the microphone.
Thanks for the presentation, Jarne Dvoršak. Infineon is a founding partner of a Silicon Alps cluster, microelectronics cluster. I would like to know, how is the cooperation between the cluster members in the field of R&D projects and in general R&D projects, and are the cluster members interested in cooperation with, let's say, regional partners, let's say Slovenian companies?
Yeah, I can try to answer. Silicon Alps cluster is an organization with the charter to bring people, to bring companies together. Yes, bring together, but the decision that 2-3 of them want to work together is then the decision of them. So the cluster they're doing events. They try to support this, they try to give a stage to companies there, so that you might find someone you would not find otherwise. It's not limited, of course, to southern Austria, Styria and Carinthia, and I know the cluster is always reaching out to Slovenia and other neighboring countries. They are open, and anyway in the industry you have to look for the best partner for what you want to do. If you're lucky, he's in the same region, then it's closer, then some things are easier. If he's not in the same region and still the best one and willing to cooperate, then we will do. Yeah, and that's I think that's true for any kind of company, for the one more easy than for the other. And the cluster they try to bring together regional players, but even to bring the regional players into relation to others which are not in the region.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear guests. I think we can close this official part of the event. And thank you, everybody who joined us online. Thank you, Jurica, for being the expert to do the talks. With the two experts, I couldn't handle it. This is way beyond my expertise. Thank you, Micho, for coming and giving the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Rohringer, for being with us here. I think in these challenging times, this might be one of the last events we will attend this year. Anyway, join us online, join us over LinkedIn. We will try to contact you, we'll try to help you. So Slovenian Business Association is a Slovenian business club for SPIRIT in Austria, so we really help you with contacts, events, cross-border conferences and so on. So follow us. Thank you everybody online, and I think this is the end of live streaming, so bye to those who are watching us online, and thank you also for you who attended in person. I think we didn't organize any official B2Bs because of the COVID regulations, but we can spend some time together in the lobby and try to network a bit. Thank you so much, and thank you again, and see you in the lounge there.
Thank you.